Hey guys, Richard here from Troll Line Fishing. I came up with a good idea today for a video from just been kind of listening to questions that are asked online. So a lot of people who are new to musky fishing, the first thing they ask is how do I fish for musky? What do I do to fish for musky? So I thought about it. It depends on where you're fishing. I think that is something that I think people need to kind of understand first off. So it doesn't matter how you fish for them, it's where you fish for them and like what lake you're in or what lake system. So for example, how you fish in the Kawarthas is not the same you're going to fish at Lake St. Clair. Lake St. Clair is kind of a big bowl. In all honesty, it's kind of doesn't have really structure points, or it does have weed beds and weed clumps and all this, but you chase the bait at Lake St. Clair. That's something that you look on your fish finder. Fish finder is very helpful on Lake St. Clair. You're literally just chasing bait everywhere. Like I know when Steve caught his 53, my screen was littered with bait everywhere. And I said, you know what, Steve, we're going to keep following this. He goes, you sure? He goes, we were in a bit more when you got yours. I'm like, no. I'm like, Will gave us a good tip, chase the bait. So I was chasing bait and I just kept seeing. And then next thing you know, he snapped off and 53-inch PB was caught, which was unreal. Now, when you're fishing the Kawarthas, it's a little bit different. A lot of people, how do I fish for musky in the Kawarthas? I'm hitting pigeon, or I'm hitting buckhorn, or I'm hitting shamong, or I'm hitting, balsam. And I think the easiest thing to start, what I do, is 10 to 14 foot weed lines. Troll them. If you want to cast them and you have a trolling motor available, plop your motor down, go along 10 feet, or find the edge of the weed. So where you have the weeds meeting the deep. You want to be able to get a spinner through clean. That's how I am. I like to get a spinner through clean. And once I'm able to get a spinner clean, you want to be able to cast into the edge of thicker stuff and you're pulling out. You got to remember, these are the predators of the freshwater systems. They're not afraid of anything. So they're waiting for things to come out to smack them. So I find for me, throwing along a weed bed. So if you have a weed bed here and you have open water on this side, you want your bait kind of right down the middle of it. So it's pulling along the weed edge, but it's staying in the kind of in the clean water. Keeps you from constantly having to clean weeds, and it puts you in a nice spot. I think it also changes on the Kawarthas with water temps. Like I find in the Kawarthas, now this is just my personal thing with Kawarthas, I think when water temps start getting to lower 50s, the fish really shut off. Whereas like Lake St. Clair, 50, they're on. And I love Lake St. Clair in the fall. I find it's so much fun. I understand it's a merry-go-round on the Thames River, or if you're on not Lighthouse Cove. Oh my God. When you're on the other part of the lake fishing, it's kind of packed in. It's crazy. It's like 40 boats, like sardine fishing, but it's crazy because in any given second you can boom, your day's changed. You now have a 50+ inch fish on your line, or multiple 40s that day. Like you can have a dozen fish gone a day on a good day. And I think that's the different things you got to look at when you're musky fishing. A lot of people think that everywhere is the same. Like I think Steve's biggest awakening for St. Clair was when we realized that this is just a big sand bowl with weed clumps occasionally here and there. That's on the Canadian side, mind you, I might add. We didn't see a lot of weeds. Like we picked up some bottom weeds, but it was a lot of sand and bait chasing. Is like I said, we just chased bait. So I think the biggest thing that I can tell you if you're starting on musky fishing is obviously get the gear right. Get your Cudas or whatever you use, whatever jaw spreaders and long nose, and even I have my big net here and my box of tackle. You need all of those things, but I think the biggest thing is depending on the body of water you're fishing and the system that body of water belongs to, it's going to determine how you fish for them. Like I said, most lakes I fish weed edges. So even when I was going out the Tweed area fishing for musky, we did there's Stoke and a bunch of the other lakes there. We fished weed edge. Mouths of rivers are huge because they feed bait into the lake, so the musky just like easy pickings. And you know what? Don't be afraid to change it up with musky fishing. Depending on the time of year, don't be afraid to change it up. I think that's something that we do. We try to do things by the book when musky fishing. I think you got to really sometimes go out on a limb. Like I know for myself, I love trolling 20 feet of water and having my bait out 100 feet with it down 15 feet or with 5 feet off bottom, that 3 to 5 feet off bottom, and just trolling deep trenches, 30 feet. I love that. Like My lake I'd like to go on my next list is, you know, I'd like to go to the St. Lawrence. I'd like to hit up Georgian Bay, like lakes like that, because they do have the availability of deeper fishing. And you can get a pig. Let's get that out of the way. It's because they're pigs there, and I just want to get a nice fat pig. I love pig. Whew, they're so nice. But that's just something I thought I would, you know, cover in this video shortly. Just, you know, there's not a particular way you can kind of attack a muskie when you're fishing for them, because no matter what, you can do everything by the book. It may not hit. I'm just hoping that this video kind of helps you realize that, you know, Kawarthas, start 10 feet, work your way up to 14, 15, 16 foot weed lines and kind of find that weed edge and, you know, go along everywhere. Time of year obviously matters as well. Like I said, the temps drop below, you know, low 50s. I find Kawarthas kind of shut off. People might disagree and say it gets hot for them, but for me, I've never had luck below 52 in the Kawarthas, and I'll be the first one to say that. You can, I think the coldest we've been out was 53 or 54, and coldest has been 46, but I'm saying coldest I've caught a fish in the Kawarthas was 54, fat 42 or 41 and a 3/4 or something like that. It was a nice fat fish, but it was that's like the coldest I've caught in the Kawarthas. Like, I find, you know, we're kind of shit out of luck here when we get to that temperature range. So I really look to go other places, Lake St. Clair, places that are really heated up at that point, because it's just, they're really fattening up. So yeah, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. It's shorter than most of the videos. If you haven't checked out my previous upload, which was the muskie opener, solo netting a muskie, first time I've ever done that. It was a disaster, but it was fun. Trying to get another one in this coming weekend, or the next little bit. Here, I'll show you guys. This is where I'm fishing. It's nice and calm. I should get out there, but I'm having a little bit of boat trouble, which is not very nice. This is my cottage here. You know, it's not very nice. Motor seems to be bouncing a little bit, so we're gonna see what's going on with her. I think it's just some spark plugs that need to be changed. It's 9 years old, hasn't had really any issues to it. So you know what, I gotta say, I've had very good luck with Merc. So, oh, and actually quickly, I'm just gonna talk about this while I'm here now. I won this Skix rod on Musky Trader Canada. I fished it pretty much all of Musky opener. It is an excellent rod. There's not a lot of negatives to it, mostly pros. I think the only 2 negatives I have to say is it being 9'6", it is a bitch to solo net, and it was a little bit hard to get the telescopic part to go back in once it's been casted so many times. But other than that, it reels blades in like a dream, and it even did small rubbers really well. Like, it helped the reel out a lot, so it was really nice. And yeah, make sure you guys comment down below if you have any other tips for musky fishing in Kawarthas or any other lake systems. And yeah, thank you so much. See you later.